The regular meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board is called to order at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, August 20th, 2019. And seated in front of you this evening from my left to your right are Director Jackie Mosqueda-Jones, Director Kelsey Dawson-Walton, Director Jessica Craig, myself, Director Mike Ostaffi, Director Tanya Simons, Director Heather Douglas, and our Superintendent, Corey McIntyre. Greetings, everybody, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Douglas, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for dealing with the late start this evening due to the activities over at Maple Grove High School. Board members, in front of you is the agenda. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved, 6-0. The agenda is accepted. Next agenda item is opportunity to address the school board. Seeing no cards, we will move on to the next item. Next item is the superintendent's report. Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Chair Ostaffi. So as a regular part of the school board agenda, we typically share points of pride, seen as it's the summer months and it's a little bit quieter in the summer. Tonight I'm going to share some points of pride about our back to school work for you and for our public. So school starts 2 weeks from today, September 3rd, and we're going to welcome back about 21,000 students back to our system. So we've been busy getting ready. This week I visited our enrollment center, and they've been serving many families. They've served about 1,200 family registrations or student registrations in the last 6 weeks. And we anticipate to enroll about 3,000 students between July 29th and September 6th. So we've been very busy there, and the types of enrollments, we're handling new enrollments, re-enrollments, early childhood evaluations, change of address, homeschool and school choice open enrollment, and in and out of district transfers. So we've been very busy. And we are fortunate to have a number of services at the enrollment center that's unique to our district. We have representatives from our transportation department, food service, our Northwest Immunization Clinic, where we'll do about 400 immunizations at the enrollment center. Our homeless liaison, we have our English learner process and referrals handled there, a district nurse, a family advocate, and then some special education assistance there for new enrollees. So really it's a place for our families to get most of those issues handled at one visit. And that's very positive for us as a district. This week we had our new teacher workshop. I want to give a thank you to Laurel Anderson, our human resources team. We had about 160 new teachers, and some of you were there joining us that morning. We welcomed them and had the ability to hear from the 2019 Minnesota Teacher of the Year, Jess Davis. And she gave an inspiring story about being deliberate and intentional in teaching and supporting every student. Over the course of the week, our new teachers this week got professional development on equity foundation training, an overview of our curriculum and instruction departments and our student services departments as they're getting ready to get moving into the year. And we eventually let them into their classrooms and offices to begin to get ready. This morning, Ron and I and a few others joined our transportation department, welcoming all of our bus drivers and ESP transportation employees, and there was about 130 staff there. And if you didn't know this, our vans and buses drive about 3.5 million miles a year. So we're getting ready to do that. And we have 163 yellow bus routes and 109 van routes that we're getting prepared for. And one of the things that people might see out in our community is that the week before school starts, each driver practices their assigned routes so that they're familiar with each stop and can identify potential problems before the first day of school. And see any, if they see any, so if you see any buses making stops out there, don't be alarmed leading up to school. This year we were fortunate. We had one bus driver and 2 ESPs win statewide awards in their role in their district. Osseo area schools was the only district in the state to win 3 awards in their transportation department. So we're very proud of the work our transportation staff does. We can always use more drivers though. So if anyone's interested, please contact our transportation office. Tonight, many of us were at the Fernbrook Fields ribbon cutting ceremony. We really enjoyed seeing that new facility be opened up, and we're excited about our partnership with the Maple Grove city and the Maple Grove Parks and Recs Department. And again, we appreciate that partnership as our students get to access those facilities. We have a lot of other facility work happening, and we're trying to get this done before the start of school. So just some highlights. At Osseo Senior High, the south turf is complete, and students have been able to utilize that already. The north field is nearing completion and should be ready for students within the next few days. Landscaping around the perimeter still needs to be completed. By the end of the week, we'll have HVAC in the two-story complete and have access to classrooms in the music area at Osseo Senior High. We're still working on second-story restrooms. They've been delayed a little bit due to some rework, but we're going to get that done soon. And there'll also be some remaining work on the heating system because we want to make sure the air conditioning is working first when we start school. And we'll work on any remaining jobs outside of school hours if any of that work carries into the school year. At Park Center, the installation of the turf will begin in the next few days. They've been moving lots of dirt and earth there at Park Center, and we're close. Students should be able to access them very soon, and we have worked closely with John Hedstrom to ensure that practices and game access to until turf fields are complete will be accommodated. So we're very close. We're excited. We were visiting there the other day, and it's an amazing sight to see so much of that being put in. Our LTFM work at other buildings, including Northview Middle, Brooklyn Middle, and Weaver Lake, is either complete or nearing completion and has went smooth. And outside of those big LTFM projects, our facilities have been getting kind of the spruce up work of classrooms being set up, parking lots being striped, tile floors being waxed, completing other smaller projects to make it feel clean and welcoming as students and staff return. Our fall sports and activities have started already and are in full swing, and games and matches have already started as we moved into this week. At the 3 high schools, we have everything in the fall sports calendar started: football, volleyball, girls and boys soccer, girls and boys cross country, girls swim and dive, girls tennis, sideline cheer, and school musicals. They're all moving and have already started. I'll just wrap up with saying we're welcoming all of our teachers back next week, and they'll be spending time at site-directed professional development, preparing their classrooms and materials for the return of students. So as you can see, there's a lot going on, and we're really getting ready to welcome all of our students back September 3rd. So with that, I'll entertain any questions you might have, but thank you for the time to update you on the work that's happening.
Okay, board, any questions?
We're busy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Superintendent McIntyre. Our next agenda item are school board reports. Start with Director Mosqueda Jones. Do you have a committee report or an update?
I have none at this time.
Director Dawson Walton?
No.
Director Craig?
Not tonight.
Director Simons?
Nope.
Director Douglas?
Yes.
All right.
This Thursday will be District 287's monthly board meeting, and if you'd like to come, you're welcome to. It's in their boardroom at the 287 building. That's all.
Very good. Thank you very much, and I do not have a report this evening. Tonight's presentation is the Summer Learning, Adult and Youth Learning Opportunities. The presenters are Executive Director of Community Engagement, Brian Severson Hall, Assistant Director of Community Engagement, Carrie Cabe, Coordinator of Digital Learning and Instructional Media, Andy Bedeau, and Director of Educational Equity, Rev Hellstrom. So we will start with Brian.
All right, Chair Staffy, thank you. School board members and Superintendent McIntyre, it's my pleasure to join my colleagues that Mike just mentioned to talk about our summer learning updates. Since Superintendent McIntyre shared some highlights in the last couple weeks, one of my favorite summer highlights this year was Director Simons volunteering to be a mascot at the 5K run. So thank you. First ever, I think.
We have the pictures to prove
We have
it.
pictures to prove it, yes. So as was just mentioned, fall is gearing up. Well, summer's still winding down. So our summer programs end at 6 tomorrow. So we've had a wonderful 9 or 10 weeks, and our hope tonight is to share with you all the information regarding our summer 2019 experiences for staff and students in Osseo area schools in order to have them engage and learn during their summer hours. And as Mike mentioned, we have 4 of us here tonight to talk about what those opportunities were, and it takes a ton of commitment from many staff to ensure summer programming is successful. We often highlight the programs, and we are going to do that, but we wanted to make you aware that many of our folks are 12-month employees that work year-round to support learning. As well as this summer, we had over 765 casual staff working our summer programs and over 140 subs who worked for us this summer. So that speaks to the growth that we continue to have in our summer learning programs. So Andy is going to kick us off for some adult learning.
Thank you, Brian, and good evening. I'm here to just briefly talk about Chromebook training. So very similar to last year when the focus was at the high school, we are again offering all 6th through 8th grade licensed staff training and professional development on using the Chromebook. So as you recall, the training itself is about 3.5 hours, and this is in exchange for an afternoon off in April. So really the whole idea here is that we want to help support our staff and teachers on day one so that they can utilize this tool for teaching and learning, and that they wouldn't have to wait until a later time, September, October. So we are offering 12 sessions. We are smack dab in the middle, so we have completed 6 of our sessions and we have 6 more to go. Mainly that's because we offer some sessions. For example, we talked about new teacher workshops, so we want to make sure that we include our new teachers in some of this training as well, so we will have opportunities for them as well. And again, this is all in support of our revised Digital Learning for All plan and supporting our work around digital learning. And just a brief idea of what that looks like is at that training, staff will receive a Chromebook, so that will be checked out to them. And then they learn the basics, which is a lot for us to sort of learn about. But really the focus, as we've talked about with our digital learning plan, is we want to provide them an experience in personalized learning. So what does that look like through path, place, and pace? And we really want to focus on the teaching and learning side of using a technology tool and not just the device itself. So far we've been really successful, and we're looking forward to having, like I said, 6 more sessions later in the next 2 weeks actually. So thank you. I will turn it over to Rev.
Good evening, everyone. Chair Staffy, Superintendent McIntyre, and our other friends here on the board. Thank you for letting me be part of the conversation this evening. Summer learning in the Department of Educational Equity is truly a collaboration through literally every department here in our system. I thank Brian and his team, HR and their team. We do not do this in isolation or stand alone by any means, and we are really grateful for that. I'm going to start with some of our staff development components, and then I'm going to look at some of the things that happen for students. We had arguably some of the best feedback and results that I've ever seen at a summer learning at our NUA Summer Institute. We had a limited number of staff that participated. We changed some of our direction around that. This year we did it in collaboration outside the system, so we sent people instead of hosting it internally, which was a tremendous cash savings to us. And we had 18 folks, and the feedback was phenomenal. Of course, some of you are aware that our AVID work is continuing to grow in our system, and we supported that with sending 21 people to the Minneapolis Summer Institute. There are summer institutes across the country. Of course, we chose locally, which was a tremendous cost savings for us. We would have had probably more folks, but guess what weekend that was? 4th of July weekend. So that does impact how many folks are going to make themselves available for that type of learning. And then our culturally responsive storytelling and curriculum writing, which our department co-hosted with my colleagues and at that time CIES, now LNA. We did a collaborative project with them where we actually brought 37 different teachers in across the system to look at our balanced literacy against culturally responsive teaching practices. And it was quite profound. So very, very, very excited about those staff development opportunities. In addition to that, you are aware that by your direction as a board, we've continued our EFT work. I literally just finished, I heard the numbers were over 160, maybe upwards to 180 teachers today that I facilitated with my team, our EFT 1.0. That's our new teacher folks. That was a tremendous day. And they asked me, one of the questions they asked me yesterday at our new teacher workshop panel is, what are we doing to address the achievement gap? I said, we hired you. And we're equipping you, and we're preparing you because we believe in you. And to be quite honest, I'm thrilled by the new staff that I see coming in, and their optimism and their engagement in today's learning. It was a tremendous day, so thank you for the continued support for that. You know, we're rolling out our EFT 1.5, and it was over 200, I guess it says 226 staff we have registered for the Train the Trainer. So lots of folks have gone through that 4-hour. I know you actually had the chance to attend that with us. What a wonderful day of learning and opportunity to see board support there. So those of you who can get involved in that type of thing, we love to see you there. It really does reinforce the message to our staff. So thank you for that. And then last year we entered a really unique partnership. The HR helped negotiate an MOU with our ESPs and our ESP union. And we're going to put over, I think it's going to be closer to 230 ESPs through our EFT 1.5 training. Thursday is our next one. And I heard the numbers are approaching 80 people for that one. So lots of staff are getting exposed to our foundational work and equipped to be able to deliver it system-wide this fall. I want to jump a little bit into our youth programming. We, through DOEE, had really two focuses this year in our summer programming. One is our continued support of Freedom Schools, and I know at least 3 of you were able to make it out to Freedom Schools at different times this year. I'm not sure if anybody else was able to make it, but I know at least 3 of you were there. And the staff talk about that. That matters to them. That's affirmation, and the kids and the families know you're there, and it's a great space for you to interact. And so I thank you for those that I know were able to make it to that program. But at the K-7 level, we literally had over 240 kids that remained from beginning to end, which was a tremendous opportunity. And we were at 2 sites this year instead of 3. We'll continue to discuss the value of placing it in multiple places and how that works, and look at cost-benefit analysis about our spending to make sure we're providing the highest quality for the most students. But on average, Freedom School nets over double-digit months in academic growth in literacy in 6 weeks, friends. So your continued support for this program has been a blessing to me, and arguably some of the most rewarding work I've had the opportunity to participate in our system. So thank you again for that. We also partner Principal Lehan, Michael Lehan. He is the executive director of that specific high school program, but he and I work in collaboration to be able to support that work. He had 72 scholars this year that were able to gain over 179 credits. Credits were regained or obtained. That's tremendous. And many of his 9th graders walked away with 3 credits as they're coming in. So this is tremendous work, again, through an extensive amount of collaboration across district, across building, but we're thrilled by that. This summer, something was new that I really have to take my hat off to Kirsten Nicholson, our EL coordinator, and our multilingual support person, who really had this vision and helped foster that, again, not in herself, but she led that work. We were able to host some summer programming for our EL summer clubs, and you can see them listed there, but 247 scholars participated. And we know the data around our EL population. So this is a beginning intervention, if you will, for next year as we start to address these issues and these needs. But what a wonderful opportunity. Our first EL comprehensive, if you will, outreach for the year. And I'm thrilled to see that we had so many students participate. That's the information I have to share with you. And I'm going to turn it over to my friend Carrie.
Can we ask questions?
Let's wait till the end.
All right, good evening, everyone. I get to share with you a little about some of our community ed programs that happened this summer. To start out, early childhood and family education continue to offer programming this summer. Some of the fun highlights when I asked Sally and her team, 88 children, 69 parents, and 83 families over the course of the summer. Also some cool new classes, a 3 to 5 STEAM class, and a 4 and 5 on my way to kindergarten class that both filled, which were new to the program, so they were excited about that. And 41% of the participants were literally brand new to an early childhood experience within our system. So that is a huge success for summer to have that many new families engage in summer learning with us. And then, of course, 128 students have been screened over the summer months, too. So screening continues with multiple appointments in multiple locations. When I was looking in our registration at the library to our different buildings as well, so giving families lots of options of where they can register for our programs to get screened.
One of the other fun things that she shared with me is they held a community open house at Willow Lane that had a teddy bear theme. That's why the picture's up there. 151 participants came to that open house. Some of the highlights were the Teddy Bear Band, if you're popular with early childhood music, and North Memorial's Teddy Bear Clinic, so they could bring their teddy bear along and get anything repaired or fixed while they were there. So that was some pretty cool, fun stuff for our earliest learners and families in our system. Another long-standing program within our system is our Camp Rocks program, our academic version. It's 18 fun-filled days. We had over 750 students that engaged in the whole 18 days. It's a targeted services funded program taught by licensed teachers, many of which have been doing the program. They have more Camp Rocks t-shirts than I care to count because they all wear a different one every day of the program. And one of my favorite things that the coordinator of our Camp Rocks program, Melissa Henderson, did, she did some posts on Facebook, the top 10 reasons to love Camp Rocks. So I just wanted to make sure you all got to see those too. Fun activities, they do work on literacy and math while they're there. We have media specialists with the students so they can check out books and enjoy access to media center time when they're there. We have a great partnership with an organization called In Sports. They come in for a day and do a field day with the students, loud music playing in the field. They're getting to do different activities, so getting some active time outside. They also have FIED every day. It's intense learning that they're doing, so we want to make sure they get some mental breaks in there as well during the day. So we intentionally have a FIED teacher they're engaging with throughout the day. There's guest speakers that come in. We really try to focus on social emotional learning with the students too, right? What are the things we can support them to help them be successful as they transition into the new school year as well? They kind of get June off, join us July, and then they kind of get August off to get ready for the school year. So we really try to crash what we can into those 18 days with the students. The longevity of staff is up there, and then last, number 10 was the families. Every site does a family event at the end of the 18 days, somewhere in the last week, and I'm continually amazed. They go into the classrooms to see what their students are doing, how many families continue to engage and come to that, and then ask when they can enroll for next year as well. Another thing we offer is Camp Rocks mini camps. This summer they were at Oakview. And there are different camps every week. Anything from some of the things highlighted here. We had a brand new camp. There's been lots of questions of wanting to get theater at Osseo Middle, so we worked with Bunt's Backyard Theater and created an opportunity for students to do Aladdin this summer, and we had 48 students sign up for that, so that was a huge success. Over 1,000 students continue to sign up for the Think Stretch Workbook program, which is just something you do at home with your family. So very much family-driven, works on many different skills for students, but families are registering for that. They can do check-ins throughout the summer and see how they're doing and share progress with some of our teachers. They meet them at a park and do that. So it's a great engagement opportunity as well with families as they work on that workbook throughout the summer. 88 students participated in Camp Invention. They always joke, but we always order extra dumpsters that week at the summer site because of all the cardboard they use to do the different creations that are happening throughout the summer. And then 19 students actually did a triathlon club with a triathlon organization, so that was kind of cool to see that they did that throughout the summer and then got to participate in a couple triathlons together. Kidstop continues to grow within our program. Kidstop and Cosmic Club are the K-5 programs within our system. 1,534 students were enrolled in that program this summer. Again, an increase. Last year we had about a 10% increase. This year we had a almost 7% increase. Some of the cool things that were added this summer, so we've often, through mini camps, offered tutoring at Oakview, or the site where that happens. We added Skills Boost tutoring to our Kidstop sites this summer, and 154 Kidstop kids signed up, or community kids, so they could come in and do small group tutoring with a licensed teacher within our system. That teacher assesses them, works with the parent or guardian to kind of figure out what they need, what support they need, and kind of help give them that boost for a time during the summer as well. So that was kind of a great new addition to those sites. And then, again, just highlighting some of that staff, 250 plus daily staff, just to support that K-5 program. What does that look like and feel like? Some of the fun feedback we received from families through surveys here at the end of the summer. 95% of those surveyed indicated that their child likes coming to the program, and then 98% for both parents or guardians stated that the staff like and respect their child, which we think is a huge thing, and that they feel welcome in the program. So really trying to make sure that they feel welcome beyond. We have greeters that, sometimes can feel a little cold and isolating because you kind of stop right there, but really working hard to invite families in to that program. When I was working with the Kidstop program managers, I asked them something they're super proud of this summer, and I got some feedback from parents after asking them if we could share, but they all, in isolation, mentioned how well they feel they're working with the variety of students that enter our program. So we've been working very hard to make sure students with special needs or other barriers have access to our programs. And here's a couple of just words from parents that I wanted to share with you as well. Parent one, words can't describe how much we appreciate and love the caring, and I brought Kleenex because I told Steph I wasn't going to get upset, but love, care, and support that our daughter was given in the program. Whenever summertime approaches, typically the happiest time for other kids and probably their families to enjoy, it's the most stressful time for our family. But this year, things finally changed. Our daughter learned some new skills as well. The other day when I carried her into her bedroom to sleep, she wrapped her arms around my neck, which surprised me since she's never done that before. I asked the next day at Kidstop, and they told me that she's been learning to hug because the staff love to hug her so much. She also learned how to strap her own self into her wheelchair. So that was one parent. Parent two, up until last winter, I didn't think that Kidstop was a possibility for our students. It wasn't until Oakview Principal Ann Mock suggested it as an option that I realized how committed to inclusion Osseo area schools really is. I had concerns about how it would be possible for a kid like our daughter who uses a wheelchair, and needs extra help with most of her daily tasks to receive the necessary care at a program like Kidstop. I met with the program manager, Darby, and her team, and she put my mind at ease and assured me that Kidstop would be good for her. She couldn't have been more right. I wish more families with special needs children knew that this was an option for them. When asked how their student benefited from the program, this parent said, instead of spending her days one-on-one with an adult, my daughter got to interact with her peers daily, strengthen her independence, experience new things like field trips without her mom, and most of all, have fun. And this student actually sang in our talent show the other day, which was amazing to watch too. And then the last one I wanted to share was a third parent. We were very unsure as to what to expect, but leading up to Kidstop, we had great communication and understanding from the staff as to our son's needs. As parents, we were very impressed at how well the program is conducted, the organization of logistics day to day, and the friendly staff. Our student absolutely loved being a part of Kidstop and talks about it daily. It exceeded our expectations, especially with this child that has special needs outside of others. They went above and beyond to make his experience top-notch. So it was just great to see that feedback. I got probably 10 families that wanted to share, but these were the 3 that I chose. All right, SPOT continues to be a strong middle-level program that's similar to our Kidstop program, so students that are entering 6th, 7th, and 8th grade that just want to have that experience with their children. It is a flexible schedule, pick your day, that kids can engage in. Kids can work on leadership skills, continue to gain their own independence, and engage in new activities or interests. One of the cool activities that I want to highlight from them is they did Junior Achievement Finance Park, which is a staff do curriculum with the students for multiple weeks, just learning about finance and all that kind of stuff. And then they get to go spend a day at Finance Park where they're given money and how do they given a job within Finance Park, so it's very cool. Some of the kid feedback that was provided when I went over and asked them, you have to respect and learn how to spend your money, was one student's comment. It's hard to stick to a budget, another student said. You have to buy what you need before what you want because you run out of money. And the last one, budgets are good to use so you don't spend all your money. So it was just fun to hear their perspective on what they learned while they were there too. Last slide I want to share is other middle level programs that occurred. So this is our last summer with our 21st Century grant programming at Brooklyn Middle School and Northview Middle School. So we were able to serve about 200 students at Parkbrook this summer through that program. That's a 6-week program that kids get to engage in Monday through Thursday. There's academic items in the morning with them and then enrichment camps in the afternoon, from henna to fishing camp to cooking with microwaves, and we blew a lot of circuits over at Park Brook this summer. They put us in the old wood shop room hoping it would help, but often we were finding a custodian to trick that back on. And then we also had a brand new targeted services program from Maple Grove Middle School called Free to Be Me, which we hadn't offered a program to Maple Grove students in the past intentionally, so this was the first summer for that. We had about 50 students sign up for that, which was great for our first summer. And then Osseo's Ozone, which is the targeted services program there as well. So they continue to offer programming. So a total about 339 students enrolled in 21st Century, our targeted servicing program, which again, 6 weeks in length. So we'll just be looking at targeted services programming for all 4 of those sites next summer, which is totally doable. We've done it at Osseo and Maple Grove Middle. It'll just be a change on some of the stuff that we need to offer and document for students, but super exciting that we continue to offer strong programming for middle level students during the summer as well. All right, that is it from my lens. Thank you for listening tonight. It's amazing to kind of step back and reflect all the staff learning that occurs, to all the staff that are engaged in engaging with students, and just the impact we have in our community over the summer months when school is shut down. So if you have any questions, I'm sure any of us will be able to field any of those as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, all 4 of you, for presenting, and I know we have a lot of questions. Let's start from the right to the left, and we'll go that way. Put you on the spot,
Wait.
Director Douglas, if you
All right.
have any. We-
I don't think I have any questions at this time, but I just wanted to say I've talked to a number of students, and some of them were even pictured here tonight, and their families that were involved in the summer learning programs, and they really, really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to, again, say great work, and obviously the surveys reflect that, but it's really nice to hear from the people directly.
Thank
Yeah. Okay, so on the Freedom School program, you said that we were at 2 sites versus 3. Did we still serve the same number of students, or did less students have access?
No, the same amount of students had access. We had up to 300 seats available.
Okay.
Last year, I think the attrition rate got down to about 270. This year, the attrition rate got down to 241.
Okay.
But we had the same seats. We actually increased at 2 sites and thought that may be a cost benefit for us to be able to try to house it at 2 sites.
Right.
You could possibly suggest some of our West Side students, because we did do something at Elm Creek this year, so we lost some of that population, because the program doesn't provide transportation, and that's a conversation that we can have in the future. That's something we want to engage in.
Okay. And what year is it that we're offering this, or have this partnership with Freedom Schools?
This is our 5th or 6th year.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 maybe? Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize, I can't
Yeah, no, that's good, that's good.
remember right off the top of my head.
And second year was senior high, right?
This is our 2nd year with senior high. I want to say this was our 5th year. Yeah, because it's my 5th year here, and it started the year I was here, 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2015, that's when I came, so yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned double-digit growth over the 6 weeks. Is that a general number for what Freedom School participants achieve, or is that specific to our students from start to end of program?
Thank you. So we get our data back usually right about mid-December. So we won't know our data from this year. But last year's data suggested over 10 months of growth was the average for our general population. So yes,
Okay.
that's our number. Now our numbers, and I'll boast on this, are higher than the national average.
Okay.
We have an exceptional crew of dedicated people, from the time that Courtney Gilliard helped lead this program to our current support from Sean Taylor and our staff. We have an extraordinary crew that do amazing work, so that's really a hats off to that.
Okay. And are you seeing those achievements stick, like over time?
No. To be honest, we don't see that same level of success when they enter back into our regular curriculum and experiences. As you know, Freedom School is a culturally responsive pedagogical model that you could argue is Afrocentric in much of its foundation, and many of the students that we support fall within that demographic, and they don't see that same experience reflected in much of their traditional experiences.
Okay.
So no, we don't see that same experience.
Okay. It'll be interesting to continue to learn from that and see what we can do differently so that we see those benefits throughout the year. Okay. should I continue?
Uh,
I
Go
would just
for
let
it.
you were, just you were.
No, no,
Yeah.
keep going.
On the early childhood, so in the information you presented, you said that 69 parents were served. So is there a parent education component to that as well? And can you talk a little bit about that?
I can't talk too much about it, but there is, yep. So kids will engage in learning opportunities while their parents are also engaging in learning during the summer months too.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and that's the, I think you already know this, but that's the FE, Family Education, and EC and FE, right? So a lot of some of our classes are teachers directly with young learners, and some include the parents, right? So that's why you hear some parent numbers as well as student numbers or young learner
Okay,
numbers.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm just curious if there might be opportunity in the future to, because we've talked a lot about parent education leading up to today, if there might be opportunity to make that same type of opportunity available to other parents and other programs while the kids are participating in programs. Just
Yeah.
a thought as we consider options in the future.
Okay.
And then my last question is, on the Camp Rocks mini camps, you highlighted a number of new programs that were based on interest and input, and how can families provide more feedback for what interests they might have for next year?
Yeah, I would say there's a couple ways that they can engage. They can email our community ed department directly, like if they have requests, or hop onto their Ellie account, and there's a contact right on there. Like if they sign up for classes in the past and would like to provide feedback. Also, they've been trying to do a really good job of do items on Facebook and Instagram now too, so even families could hop on there and, on social media and have a suggestion for camps there too.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Move on to Director Craig.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing the very personal feedback. Families and parents with special needs is just another level of difficulty in family life, and so I wasn't going to cry, but as soon as I saw you cry, I couldn't stop. But just thank you for those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. The staff
it.
joked and asked if I had Kleenex in my pocket before I got here.
Thanks.
Yeah, and just a reminder to the board, and thank you for that, Jessica. This is a part of our budget process
Yep.
to approve the levy so that we can support kids with special needs and not a school-time program. So when we have these discussions at budget time, what Carrie shared with you is the direct impact of supporting that in the budget for the overall school district. So thank you.
Well, I just think it's really great. The summer learning is just very responsive to not only our community's needs, but their wants. And I think that it just speaks to the breadth and the diversity in our district. And I think that it's really responsive, the programs. So, Tanya or Dr. Simons brought up just about, the success that Freedom School has brought forth with students. And the numbers and the opportunity, and then Rev, you had mentioned some of the new teachers asking about how are we closing the achievement gap. And to me, it seems very obvious right now. I love your response to them, but I also think that, curriculum like this, it's not going to be successful, obviously, if it's just like a certain kind of point in time in a child's life, a student's life. Are there opportunities with the Freedom School? We talked about this at our last work session a little bit, to expand into the year or get into the curriculum, or where? I don't know. I know a little bit about Freedom Schools, but is there an opportunity to expand that curriculum, or is there curriculum?
Sure, where there's a will, there's a way. What that would look like is going to be a conversation a lot longer than obviously we have here at a board meeting, but we sure can explore whatever interest that you have as a board. I know that DLTL has been incredibly supportive of the Freedom Schools and will continue to support the interest of our board to respond to our community's needs. So I'm quite sure we could advance that conversation if that was your request.
Okay,
Thank you. Jackie?
thank you.
Tanya asked all my questions, so thank you. I appreciate that. But I do want to say, first of all and foremost, thank you for all the work that you do and for reaching to everyone from our littlest learners to our adult learners and from every walk of life. I truly, truly appreciate that. Of course, I'm a little biased since I came from community ed, but I also want to express my interest in learning more from the Freedom Schools and how we can apply that towards the school year. And I'm also extremely interested, as a licensed parent educator, on figuring out how we can get more parent education back into our schools like we used to.
Well, thank you to the board for giving us some extended time. Or Director Ostafi, did you have?
Yes, I'm
Question?
not done here. No, I was just going through some of my notes, but thank you for the presentation and all the programs that we have. Had a question around Camp Rocks. Was that all family funded, or is that district supported? What percentage?
So are you talking academic adventures or mini camps?
Both. I mean, there's the mini camps, 750 in Camp Rocks academic, and then the
Yep, so academic
1,500.
adventures is all funded through targeted services,
Okay.
right? So that one is completely free to families, provides transportation to and from the site, meals, all that kind of stuff. So that one's completely no fees for families. And then Camp Rocks mini camps is family funded, right? So those are weekly camps that are tuition based. We do offer some scholarships to families if they are on free and reduced lunch, that our front office team works with them to get that taken care of as well. So we try to make some of those classes more accessible to families as well, but those are more, we're contracting with vendors to teach a class, or a district staff person to teach a class that we then need to pay them and cover supplies and that kind of stuff. So that one definitely has a higher cost to it.
Okay, thank you. And you had mentioned there was, in early childhood, there were 128 students that had been screened, and that's for coming into K, is that correct?
I believe so. I didn't get the demographics on what age. They could be as early as 3-year-olds getting screened too, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're just entering kindergarten, but those slots are open up for public to register for during the summer.
Okay, so we're still screening, and we have about 1,800 per class. So now you're looking, we still have a lot more to screen, but it's just that through this program, we had some.
Can I clarify a little bit? Because I do early childhood screening. They can be as young as 3. A lot of pre-K programs now require screening before they do pre-K. Head Start does screening as well. And so that doesn't mean that all of our kindergartners need to be screened now. They probably were screened or have been screened. Or if they're in early childhood, we, encourage them to get screened as soon as possible. So those students are anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. I even screened one yesterday that was almost 6.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, I didn't have any other questions, so
All right,
thank
well,
you all very
thank
much,
you.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for giving us a little extended time, and I failed to mention one thank you, which is to Dale Carlstrom and his whole team. As you all know, we have amazing construction going on, and our amazing increase in construction is going right alongside our amazing increase in summer participation. And it is a jigsaw puzzle, and we move kids around, and even within buildings throughout the summer, and switch buildings every year, and just kudos to all the custodians who help us out in the summer and make this work so that school can, not only can the summer programs happen, but the schools look in tip-top condition when kids come back. So I'd be remiss if I didn't thank them. So thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up is the consent agenda. Board members, are there any items you would like to remove for separate consideration? Nope. Let me see, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed?
So moved.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Next up are our action items, agenda number 9. The first action item on tonight's agenda is the approval of the e-learning and flex learning plan. We will receive the information from Anthony Paternos, our Executive Director of Technology.
Good evening, Chair Ostafi, Superintendent McIntyre, board members, and community. I'm excited to bring forward to you tonight Osseo Area Schools Flex Learning Plan for adoption. This plan was presented to the school board and community at the July 23rd school board meeting. Osseo Area Schools Flex Learning Plan will allow us to utilize up to 5 e-learning days in the event of school closure due to inclement weather under the Minnesota's e-learning legislation. The proposed Flex Learning Plan was developed through a collaborative process between teachers, leaders, and Education Minnesota Osseo. This plan would go into effect this school year for grades 6 through 12. The included plan outline lays out process for communication, teacher logistics, student logistics, digital lesson expectations, and training for staff. If the board adopts tonight's proposed plans, our next steps will be to provide notification to families and staff prior to the start of the school year. We will also be engaging our planning teams to prepare the implementation of the plan for this school year.
Thank you, Anthony. Is there a motion to approve the e-learning, flex learning plan?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions for Anthony? No? All in favor of approving the e-learning, flex learning plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Next action item is a recommendation for approval of the individual employment contract between Independent School District 279 School Board and Tim Palmatier, our district counsel, for the period of July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Executive Director of Human Resources, Laurel Anderson, will provide us the information.
Good evening, Chair Ostafi, school board members, and Superintendent McIntyre. On the agenda this evening for school board action is a recommendation for approval for one individual employment contract, which is for the phenomenal District General Counsel, effective July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. The new agreement contains language that reflects current district practices and aligns with other contract agreements. School board members have had the opportunity to review the proposed changes to the provisions contained in the terms and conditions, to ask questions, and to consider financial implications. The new contract provisions fall within the financial parameters set by the board for the 2019-2020 contract term, and it's the superintendent's recommendation that you approve the employee contract presented to you this evening.
Thank you. Board members, is there a motion to approve the employment contract between District 279 School Board and Tim Palmatier, our district counsel, for July 1st through 2019 through June 30th, 2020?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Echo that Mr. Palmatier is phenomenal, and we're excited to continue having you with us.
Thank you.
And I do have to say, voting on someone's contract while they're sitting there, very different.
I was a little bit nervous, Laurel, but.
All right, any other discussion? Any other accolades?
I would like to add that I tried to put in a clause about not being funnier than the board, but they wouldn't let me do that. Yeah.
Very well. I negotiated hard.
So you're allowed to be funnier than us, I guess. No,
luck
you're
with
great,
that.
thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? With that, all in favor of approving the contract, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And next agenda item are gifts to the district. The final action is the recommendation to accept gifts to the district totaling $37,807.48. Is there a motion to accept gifts to the district totaling $37,807.48?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Is there any discussion? Thank you very much to everybody who donated, all the parents, the citizens, the churches, the groups, the PTOs, the sports clubs, boosters. Thank you all. And with that, all in favor of approving the gifts, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Last agenda item is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of adjournment at 7:50? Please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:50 PM. Thank you all. Thanks, everybody. Good night.